The details I'm going to talk about today occurred during the time period of 1600 to 1713. Some of the details I'm going to talk about are territory claims at this time, more colonization, and British traders. Canada! Alright, so as you can see on this very rough sketch of Canada and the United States, on the east coast of Canada, you would see it's been settled by the French, and a little bit up here. And then down the east coast of what's now United States are originally the English settlements, but then eventually the English and the Scottish will get together, and this will be the British colonies. And then there's a section in the center here that was colonized by Holland, and it's the Dutch settlements. All right? The central part here we're going to talk about a little bit later. Okay. So there was an increase in colonization in North America at this time because many of the European countries were in the same position as France. They were running out of resources. And they wanted to continue that cycle of mercantilism. They wanted to make money. They wanted to increase wealth and to gain power. And even without social networking, they found out about this new world. And they found out about the resources there and the ability to make money. So more European countries began to venture across to settle and to trade in this new world. And as we saw, the French primarily were along the eastern shore of what is now Canada, and the British were along the eastern coast of the United States. And what would happen is they continued to move southward because, as new traders and new settlers came, the land would already be taken, so they'd have to move further down, further down, further down. In Canada, they sort of went down the St. Lawrence River along that coastline. The primary industry in the colonies was fishing, farming, and fur trade. So fishing, obviously, they're close to the water and it's easy access to that resource. Farming, once you begin a settlement, you have to eat. And you can't bring the food over from your mother country, so you need to establish farms. And many of the settlers the farm would at first just be a farm for their own family, and eventually when they had enough land and enough people to help, they began to have farms that they could then sell and provide for other people. And the fur trade, obviously, which was one of the draws to the colony in the first place. Okay, so British traders. Hudson's Bay Company, you might recognize as a store that we still currently have in Canada. They were one of the British trading companies that came to Canada to trade. And instead of settling or instead of staying on the east coast, they actually ventured into the interior. So if we look back at the map. So remember, this has been settled by France, and Hudson's Bay Company was a British company. So they weren't going to settle here, and they knew that this area, there was a monopoly. The French had all the trading posts, the French had the alliances with the Aboriginals. So if they wanted to gain some land in an area of their own, they had to venture into the interior. And they did. So this central area in Canada was not claimed by the British. It was controlled by the Hudson's Bay Company. So they controlled the furs and the trading posts that were in this area. It wasn't settled, it was just a monopoly on the trading in that area. They named it Ruperts Land after the prince's cousin, Prince Rupert. Let's see. Now, one of the important details about this Ruperts Land is that many of the traders would write home, or when they got back to Britain or England or Scotland, they would talk about this uninhabited land, about how they ventured to this new world and it was brand new and open and there was no one living there. But there were people living there. There were Aboriginals living there, and they'd lived there for many years. And the Hudson's Bay Company, the traders, were using the Aboriginals for their knowledge and their help. And this is the beginning of these settlers versus Aboriginal relationships, where they don't even recognize their existence that they even exist in this country.